For this project, I used this little burnt wood shadow box that I got off of Amazon. It already had the hardware, so it can be hung up on the wall. So it could either be a shelf piece or hung on the wall. I'm going to start off by cleaning the shadow box glass with rubbing alcohol so that when I apply the vinyl, it will adhere properly. I'll speed this up so we can get through this part quickly. Now I'm going to start with the assembling of this project. Everything that I have cut out already, I did with my Cricut Maker, and I have this project saved in my design space for Cricut. I'll make a link for that below. So let's set the shadow box aside and start assembling everything. I start off by gluing this little green cardstock. It's a smaller piece to the larger cream piece of cardstock, which adds a nice little bit of dimension to this shadow box. In hindsight, I realized later, after I got further into this project, that I should have used hot glue, which I later did, to glue this piece to the shadow box, because we're going to put something that's a little bit heavier on this, and it will cause it to hang down if we don't have a good adherence. Now let's just set it down inside the shadow box and secure it, pushing down in all four corners. Now we're ready to start adding the other pieces. The first thing I'm going to add is this little piece of styrofoam that's going to add even more dimension to our little piece of art here. You want to adhere that with hot glue, and it actually could have been a smaller piece for what we're doing here, but it did work out okay. This is about a 2" by 2" piece. Now we're just removing a little bit of the glue that got on the side there. And I'm going to go ahead and push this on the side and start assembling the Texas pieces. I have a piece of chipboard that I cut with the Cricut Maker, and then a white cardstock that's going to be stuck to that. Now, one thing I did do wrong was the first time I glued the white cardstock, I glued the front part of the white cardstock. You want to glue the reverse side of that white cardstock Texas. So I'm using the Zig two-way glue. It's called Squeeze and Roll. And I'm just kind of applying it all over the reverse side. And now I'm applying that to the chipboard, trying to get it straight. Just think about all the different kinds of patterned paper that you could use here for this, for your state, for your home state. And you could even make it personal to your dad. Like, say he likes fishing, you could use scrapbook paper with fishing on it, or golf, or different things like that. But I just went with the white. So now I'm going to glue on the little heart, and I tried my best to get it as close to where we live as possible. Again, just using that Zig glue pen. Okay, now I'm just pressing down everything to make sure it's all stuck pretty good. And now I'm going to apply some hot glue to the back of this so that I can apply it to the styrofoam. That really makes it pop out there. I love this. Okay, then you want to push it and make sure that it's really good and firmly adhered. And now we're going to apply the vinyl wording. So let's just close this up and push it aside. I had to share my funny with you. When I first started this project, I realized that the D was missing on the vinyl phrase, so I had to recut it out with the Cricut. But anyway, here I am now taking off the tape, the transfer tape, so that I can apply it to these words and apply that to the glass. Just set that on top of there and in the middle and smooth it out with your smoother. Make sure that the wording adheres to the transfer tape. I had a little trouble with the last few letters, so I had to work with that a little bit. Now I'm just going to trim off some of these little random pieces so I don't get that on the glass. And now I'm ready to apply it to the outside of the shadow box. I like using these little graphic mats because it helps me measure things and make sure I get things straight. Now we're just going to smooth that on and remove the transfer tape. And that's it. Just think of all the different things you could put inside the box to personalize it even more, like a photo or maybe a little golf club or a fishing pole or something like that. Hope you enjoyed this little tutorial, and I hope you'll hit that like and subscribe button and come back and see me again. Keep on crafting.